Hello, it's Laurel with the Dabbling Hook. How are you guys doing? Today's Friday, February 20th, and it just started to snow. We were supposed to get snow on Wednesday. It turned into just rain, and snow was forecasted for today, and it's actually starting almost on time, and it's really big fat flakes. It keeps getting bigger and bigger, but it just started. Originally they said, or I shouldn't say originally, earlier it said it might just be rain starting around 2 o'clock, and it's 1:44 and it's snowing. Lovely New England. It was so warm yesterday that I only had a sweater over my top. We went to the last dining event at Minion One's school. So graduation's coming up. Anyway, why are we here? Stuff I've been making. I have 2 spring craft fairs. This will be the fourth year I'm doing. Is it 4th already that I'm doing spring craft fairs? 3rd or 4th? I don't remember. Anyway, I mainly do amigurumi stuff for that. I have tried doing hats, cotton hats and stuff. Sold a couple, but it's not a big thing. Around here, people see hats and they think just, or yarn, even though, you know, beanies and stuff, it is yarn, but not like the mass market type stuff. They just see handmade hats and they think winter. Anyway, amigurumi is what I'm doing, and usually once I'm out of the fall winter craft fair season, I just amigurumi what revives me, so that's what I get into. All that to say, I have a bunch. I have done 2 previous videos. As of today, the 20th, I have not even edited the first one that I did on the 4th, so that's coming up at some point, hopefully this weekend. Anyway, if you're new here, hi. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you subscribe, but if you don't, I hope you enjoy this episode of amigurumi goodies. All right, I am having tea in my Canadian crotcheter mug. Ignore the lipstick stains. And she always says, talk soon. Hey, Deb. Lots of ums. Where are we gonna start? I did try the previous 2 clips. Most of the items I couldn't remember where they were from. I've just been making stuff because work has been quite brutal, and the last 2.5 weeks have been especially so. Very emotionally, like energy wise, and it's just been taxing. So I've been diving into my yarn, which has been a lifesaver, and I keep seeing the fat flakes falling. I'm hoping it's going to be one of those like squall, like, you know, 5-minute things, but who knows. The original forecast is supposed to be starting around 1 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock, so we'll see if it lasts. Anyway, all right, what's first? No particular order. I had mentioned in the previous 2 videos that the goal of January, and really for the first half of this year, was to attack my scraps. And I was doing so well, but I kind of put a pause on it. I had gone through most of my chenille and blanket scraps, and then I tackled my worsted weight scraps where I doubled some of them. And I still have some that are number 6 bulky, most of them, but they're mixed blends, and I was hesitating. I've been hesitating using it in making amigurumi, just in case anyone has any wool allergies, and most likely it'll go to kids, so, but I may still do it anyway. But all that to say, I had made balls of my worsted weight, and I doubled most of them and made balls. And I decided to make a scrappy monster. I was scrolling and I saw a couple of monster type amigurumi, and one of them, I thought it was a scrap, but she was just using I think she did say one of them was scrap, but she's mostly using leftover yarns or one-off skeins and such. So because I had that, and the colorful yarn in there, most of it is the Jelly Bean. I believe it was a Big Twist. I think it was a Big Twist. And I bought like 4 or 5 different colorways, but that is the, oh good, that is the Monster. The only thing different, I added one more round to the leg of hers because it looked really short, and I should have followed, you know, trusted the process and just gone with it, but I'm not mad at it. You know, I did one leg when you started the other, so everything kind of lined up, which helped a lot. Not helped, but I kind of like the way it turned out, and I love the colorfulness of it. She had just 2 regular black eyes, but I have these googly type of, they're not the shaky googly, but the, I guess the kawaii googly type eyes. I bought a while ago, and I still have a bunch of them, and I've been trying to use it, so I just decided to add 3 of them because it's just a scrappy monster. So we'll see. I might use the blended scraps that I have to make another one of these because it's kind of mindless, and you can change it. You can go big, as big as you want. I added chains here to make this wider, but I think I had made the arms first, and I didn't adjust for the arms to be bigger, but that's all right. He just has, you know, little T-Rex arms and big legs. So yeah, pretty simple, and it's a YouTube tutorial by Marsh Flower Studio. And she said, you know, you can do different airs. You can pretty much, it's a formula basically, and you can do it however you want, but pretty simple. You know, make whatever changes that you want. All right. Next, I'm trying to do, again, the chair is squeaking, springy themed, in my mind, type items. So I made another unicorn. And again, this is a nice baby blue color of blanket yarn. This is also a variegated blanket yarn. All stuff I bought on clearance off Hirschner's or Mary Maxim last year. So I'm finally putting it to use, and the horn is just, you never see all the fiber fill sticking out when you're doing it, but afterwards you sure do. Anyway, that is the Dollar Tree, the Just Chenille. I use for the unicorn, but for the horns I should say, but this is just all blanket yarn. All blanket yarn. The tail, I don't think I think it was crocheted in, but anyway, this is the unicorn by Darling Maple Designs. Now she makes like these little ones, but again, you can change the yarn, the hook size, etc., to get bigger stuff than is done in the pattern. So, and I mentioned a couple of times, I like a more substantial amigurumi. I know we do the markets and want smaller ones to be at smaller price points, but that just steals my joy. So anyway, Darling Maple Designs unicorn. Quick, easy. I believe everything is, the only thing you sew on is the muzzle and the horn, and of course you have to attach and do the hair, but everything else is basically one piece or crocheted in as you go. So, unicorn. Now, I like foxes. I like the looks of them. There are a lot of patterns out there, and I will say not all of them speak to me. In my mind, I guess I have a certain way I want it to look, but I'm always up for trying something different, so I made a couple. This one again, I use the, what is this? This is the Mystical yarn with just some regular blanket yarn, and this is by this other channel I found on YouTube where she has great little patterns that I think would be great for markets, and a lot of them are all low sew or no sew, and it's a Russian channel, and I had to use Google Translate to get a name for it, and when you translate the channel name, it's Love Knitting, and the designer is Lyubov, Lyubov. But it's a Russian channel. All the tutorials are in Russian, but easy enough to follow along because she has steps on the screen in both Russian and English. So it's easy to follow along, but it came out so cute. I love a little fox. Now, last year, there are 2 foxes I made. I made the little crystal fox by, I think it's Toy Story Pattern AU. No. I bought it off Etsy. I forget who it's by. But it's a cute little one. It's the pattern picture is white. It sits in your hand, but I've made it in bigger yarn. I actually started one in skinny chenille, but the skinny yarn, the head's all made, but it's been in a plastic bag since late last year. I haven't finished it, but I love that one. I love the look of it. It's absolutely adorable. And I also love the one by Annie Caraway. She has a tutorial for a fox that I've made twice now, or is it 3 times? Is it 3? I know I've made it at least twice and they've both sold. Is it 3? Maybe twice, but they both sold. But I'm trying other patterns. So there's this one. All the bits are crocheted in. The limbs are crocheted in. Even the snout, the muzzle, is crocheted in as you go. The only thing you have to end up sewing is the ear on, pretty much. So very easy. This might throw some people off if you're not really, you know, savvy. Oh yeah, it's starting to stick on the deck, so it might mean business. But anyway, there's that. Adorable. So that's tiny. Now this other one I've made once before, and it is by Rose and Lily, one of my fave channels out there. I love her tutorials, but this one is pretty big. I'll do a comparison. This one I did in demi pearl. I really like demi pearl. Demi pearl reminds me of the old blanket yarn, the spongy bouncy one, but it's softer. It's more pliable, more malleable. Yeah, and much easier to work with, I think, than the old blanket yarn. But this is, look at it, there's the head. This is the one by Rose and Lily, and like I said, this is the second time I've made it. I want to say the arms are crocheted in. The tail, I can't tell. Either I did such a great job, or I think that, no, the tail is sewed on, if I remember. Yeah, the tail is sewn on. The arms are crocheted in. Or did I sew it in? I might have sewn it in. I do not recall. I think I sewed the arms in. No, I sewed them on, but if I do it again and I remember, I can easily crochet them in as I go. So one more thing to eliminate sewing. The muzzle has to be sewn in, sewn on, and the ears are sewn on, and you know, you have to do the details on the face. So next time I could eliminate sewing these on and then just have to sew the muzzle and the ears and then the facial details. And for the eyes, I bought these oval eyes last year. I guess you can't really tell the oval, but they're oval shaped, and I think they are perfect. I bought a multi-pack that came in regular round eyes and oval eyes, and I quite like them. I don't like the backing that comes with it. It's a kind of like a holographic type backing, but it actually worked with this one because it's, I don't know if it'll show up because I don't see it so clearly, but it's almost the color of the yarn, so it works out. But look at the difference. Now this is a much thinner, for a blanket yarn it's much thinner. I think you can get away with like a 4.5 even millimeter hook. I don't remember what I used. Either a 5 or 5.5 millimeter I used on that one. Pretty sure it was a 5. And then for this, I use a 6 millimeter for the demi pearl. But I really like the demi pearl. So those are the foxes, Russian tutorial, and Rose and Lily. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Rose and Lily and her tutorials. One of the first cows I think I made was her strawberry cow, a long time ago. Okay, the other thing I made, speaking of cows, I made 2. Same tutorial. It's by Crochet Grove. But did I use the same yarn? No, one I did in blanket yarn, one I did in blanket yarn and demi pearl. So the first one I did, and hers does, the tutorial does come with pants, like overalls, but it's not like the 2-strand overall, it's just one that goes across, but I'll show you. And I am terrible at color changing, like when you do the patches and stuff, because my tension really messes things up. So I used a variegated yarn for the cow. And don't ask me what the color of the variegated yarn is, but there's that. I used a gray demi pearl, I'm pretty sure, on the hooves, and then the blanket yarn variegated for the rest of it. And the snout was also, I'm pretty sure, demi pearl as well. I think it was demi pearl. Yeah. As well. This color in the demi pearl is a little thinner than like the gray one. It's almost like the new blanket yarn and old blanket yarn thickness. That's what the colorway is for this demi pearl. I think this is a pearl gray or something gray color. It's basically an off-white, but it's a something gray. And then this gray color is much thicker. And then the pants / overall, I did in the frosting yarn, Bernat frosting. Oh, came out this way. You have to sew on the horns and the ears. Did you have to sew on? No. Everything else is crocheted in as you go, because you make the arms first and then you go on. So the horns, the ears, and the muzzle have to be sewn on. Everything else is crocheted in or all in one. So there's that. And then using just the demi pearl, I made that one. And since this one came out to me boyish, I decided to make this one a little more girly. Give her eyelashes. I did try the doing the color splotches, so the color changes with this one. So again, demi pearl, but this is a variegated blanket yarn here, and there's a patch somewhere on her belly. And then the dress is not in the pattern. I just I was winging it, but then I wanted to make sure I wasn't messing up, so I used the dress tutorial mostly from Rose and Lily. She has a bunny that has a dress, so I kind of did that. And then did she do them that way? I can't remember what she did with the neck piece. I don't think hers has a tied in neck piece, but I did. If it does, I can't remember, but anyway, it's tied on, so it's very removable. So yeah, so all demi pearl except for one of the ears and the patches is Bernat blanket. So that's the difference between demi pearl and Bernat blanket, because you have to use a bigger hook anyway. 2 cows. What's next? Again, with the Love Knitting Russian channel, she has, I'm going through my bag here. I have so many things to tag. I'm not even going to bother with doing pictures of everything. I normally take pictures of everything I make, but like I said, the last couple of months, it's not happening. There's just not enough not enough time in mental capacity to do them. So let's see. So this, I just whacked the table. Let's see, what else did I do? These are, where's my notes? Oh my gosh. Oh, the bunny. Again, the bunny is by Lyubov, the Love Knitting Russian channel. Her bunny is like really small, and I did the first one really small. As you can see, it fits in the palm. Very Eastery, but my craft fair will be well after Easter, but I figure bunnies are very spring. So I used Parfait Chunky for this one. And inside the ear is just some of the Dollar Tree, because I didn't have any light pink, so it's the, what is that color called? Oh, it's not salmon. I forget what it's called, but it's like a beige color, but kind of like, it almost has like a pink hue to it, but it's a beige color. So that's the little bunny. All the body part is all one piece, bobbles for legs and everything. The nose piece is like bobbles as well, right next to each other. So the only thing you have to make and sew on are the two ears. So quite cute. I like them, and I like them so much that I had half a skein of yarn, and I think it was what do you call it, Sweet Snuggles, not the light, but the Sweet Snuggles, I think it's a number 7 weight. I used it to make, I bought it on clearance last year from Michael's, obviously, and I made a Totoro from it, and I still had half the skein left, so I finally used it up, and I was able to get 3 more out of it. 2 of them have clothes on, but so first I made that one, and you can see the difference, Parfait Chunky versus the Sweet Snuggles. So everything's a little crooked, but again, gives it character. The ears has some Bernat blanket in there. I think this is the same from the unicorn hair in there, but again, real quick, bubbles. The eyes are a little off when I put them on. Even Father Minion said it, one of them looks like it's looking off to the side, but again, it gives it character. The nose, she uses safety nose, and I happen to have some, but this was, I think, my last big safety nose, and it has a little bit of texture on it. I've seen where some folks have like felt ones. I want to potentially get some of those. Just I like it to have texture, but this is like nubby texture, so. But all my eyes, and if I do noses, I glue, before I put the back on, I put glue around the base of it, and then I put it on, so it's held in there. And yes, the kids can get them off, but they'll have to work for it because it's in there. Because as I put the glue around the base, it seeps into the yarn, and it attaches to the back of the eye anyway as well. And then you put the backing on it, so it's extra secure there. But nothing's foolproof. So there's that. For this one, when I made the first one, it looked so short in the tutorial. I added an extra row in between the bobbles for the arms and legs, but I don't think I did it for the rest of them. But you really can't tell because this is so tiny. So this is the, never realized I'm talking so long. This is the Sweet Snuggles with the demi pearl for the snout. And I already said this was all mostly Parfait Chunky. And then, so she does the plain bunny, and then she also has a tutorial to add the bunny with like a skirt. So then I did that, and I only had this one skein of the Sweet Snuggles, so I didn't have another number 7 bulky, so I doubled up some Parfait Chunky to do the skirt part. And when I was doing the skirt part, I wasn't paying attention, and you're supposed to do in the back loop for that round, and I completely forgot. So I just kind of surfaced it on. So she has her skirt on. That's just surfaced around. Okay. And they have like glitter eyes, glitter backings. And then since I made a skirt for that, I made another one to use up the rest of that Sweet Snuggles gray yarn. But I used the rest of the orange from the Fox to make this one. So skirt, no skirt. Boy, I guess, girl, whichever. But yeah, so I think I'm covered for bunnies. I have the 2 craft fairs for spring that are about 2 weeks apart. One is the middle of May, and then the other one's beginning of June. Okay. Where is this one? This is I guess the realistic octopus. My regular octos haven't been selling as much because I think they've had their day, or at least the size that I make. And again, I loathe making the smaller items, but not loathe. I don't enjoy making the smaller items as much. But I figured I will try this type of octopus. I did start, it's got to be like 2 years now, working on my own pattern for it, but I never finished it because I wanted bobbles for the legs, and it wasn't sitting up, it was like toppling over. So I had to revisit it, and I never did. But this is a tutorial by Crafty Crochet Castle on YouTube, and there are a lot of tutorials like that. Darling Maple has a tutorial as well, very similar to this. I know there's a paid pattern by, I think All From Jade has one, and the Crochet Carpenter has, I think, Drift, that's very similar. Of course, there are, you know, minor differences. I think his has more of a bit of a body on here before the tentacles from the looks of it, but these will do. I made a couple of these, no, I made one, Darling Maples, last year, and they did sell. But this is with some variegated yarn, and then I adjusted the pattern because I wanted it a little bigger. So this is blanket variegated and blanket frosting. I adjusted the size, and I did the back a little different so it lies back a little. I used slip stitches in the back instead of the way she did it to make it angle back a little more than hers. But pretty easy, pretty simple. Now this one I've had in my saved folder on YouTube or playlist to do for a while, because when I saw it, it just drew me in right away, and I finally got around to making it because it is called A Cute Goose by Yarn Symphony. Look at it. It's so adorable. Now the hardest part I found of this was stuffing the neck. You want to, pardon me, you want to stuff it enough that it's sturdy, but not enough that you're distorting things or stretching the stitches. So that takes a little play. And the way she did the beak, she crocheted this on and attached it. I think we sewed it on, and then this part up here she just embroidered on here. So I thought that was pretty clever to give it that full beak look without having to crochet something. So it is adorable. It just has such a unique look. I cannot talk today. My mouth is actually quite dry. I think it has quite a unique look to it, and I want to do another one. The arms are sewn on, the legs are made and sewn on after. She ties them on after, and they're quite sturdy, but I love it. And I didn't have any ribbon at the time, and then I had an old gift bag that had the handle, the ribbon handle, so I took that off, and it was just enough that I can tie it on. So I think it's it's adorable. It's quirky looking. It's just, you know, you don't have like your normal duck shapes or the little bullet shapes of them. It's just, it's eye-catching, and I love it. And I want to make another one. This I used baby bear. I had half a skein of baby bear. This was, pretty sure it's from Joanne, not from when Michael's got it. So I've had it there for a bit, but I want to make another one. I want to see what it would look like if I used Posh, because Posh is more structured than baby bear. And then I also want to do it in Bernat blanket because I want a bigger size. And it's just so cute. So cute. I love the shape. All right, almost done. Might as well take everything else out. Maybe a dump. Okay. The other thing I made, this is by tutorial by Atomic Crochet. I bought a pattern for a horse. I don't remember by whom. I haven't made it yet. But I was scrolling and I must have saved it because it was in my playlist, my saved playlist. And I'm like, oh, a horse. And then I remembered I bought a horse pattern anyway. But this is a cute little horse by Atomic Crochet. It is all no-sew. Even the ears are crocheted in. And then the mane is attached, is surfaced on, and then you do the chain. But it's such the perfect little size for little hands. I want to do it again and do embroidery on the eyes. And the body isn't stuffed all the way because it can, obviously splooting is the thing right now that everyone's doing. So it can sploot, or it can just, you know, sit up. But I was thinking, if I make it in a bigger yarn, or if I can get it bigger, I can just not stuff it too and have it be a like a lovey type. But it's wobbly enough and not fully stuffed enough to kind of serve that purpose. But too cute. Even the tail is crocheted separately and then crocheted in as you go. So pretty much it's all no-sew. I love that the ears were crocheted in as well. I have to work on my placement a little. Well, not my placement because I followed along with her, but tension shifts. So I should have, you know, moved the ears, at least one of them. Maybe this one that way or that one up a little. But again, character. Character. Look at it. Too cute. Too cute. I love it. It was pretty quick to make. The one thing I did different, I used the third loop for the hooves instead of just a back loop, just to give it a little more texture and dimension. But the next one I make, I might just do the third loop like she did. But love. But I also need to make the one that I purchased because that's my thing. I need to make something from the so many patterns that I bought that I've not used. Let's not even talk about the books that I have too. All right, the other thing that I made, just a couple more. I saw this on somebody's video last month, I think. I think it was Amber of Ooh Crochet, I think. Hi Amber, if it was you, but I don't remember who. I was in a daze just watching videos to stay sane. But this is the Rainbow Unicorn, no, Rainbow Stegosaurus by Sweet Softies. Obviously, I didn't do it in rainbow. It's basically like you crochet the circle and you taco it closed, and everything is no-sew as well. It's a free tutorial. You do the, what do you call it? The body. You close it like a taco, and then you, did we do that first? I'm trying to think if we closed it first. No. When you do the spikes, that closes it up, and then you come back and you pick up stitches for the head and you pick up stitches for the tail. So it's all no-sew. I'm trying to think. Oh, that's Father Minion calling. The bobbles are done after the fact. They're surface done after the fact. But yeah, it looks like a dino, and it was so simple, so easy. Can't go wrong. Okay, I literally had a couple more things to show you, and I forgot that the pest control guy was coming. So it was a blip for you guys, but it was a good 20-30 minutes for me. And I've got fluff all over. All right, last finished item is, I think it's the last finished item. Yeah. I've done these before, where I first did these last year. It's a rubber duck by, did I write who it's by? Amateur Hour. It is a Instagram pattern. So it's Ami, as in amigurumi, amateur hour. I've done these before in Posh. I like the structure it gives, again, with that particular yarn, but I had these Parfait Chunky. I love the colors of Parfait Chunky, but I don't particularly like working with it. Although I do love the Goblin colorway. Still don't like working with the Shetty, and I love it when I doubled it up for that. But I have two colors of green, a yellow mushroom color I've used quite a bit actually, and I have like a royal blue and a gorgeous plum color that I'm trying to figure out what to use it for. And like I said, this was Parfait Chunky that I doubled up. It's a gorgeous jewel toned, I guess teal, dark teal color. Love that one. But anyway, the rubber ducks I made, and I was trying to use it up as well. I have a little bit left of this yellow, but I made two. The pattern has you crocheting the beak separately and then tying it on. I don't like doing that, so I surface crochet it on. And it depends on how much space I leave between the eyes. Oh, battery's flashing. I thought I'd get away with it. Let's see if it, I know it's gonna shut off on me. Anyway, I surface it, depends on how much space I leave between the eyes. I either slip stitch, chain, and do 2 single crochets or 2 half double crochets once, and then chain and slip stitch, or I do slip stitch, 2 single or half double crochets twice, here and there, and then I slip stitch. But again, depends on the space and what it calls for and what I can fit in the space. But that is that. And then I did 2 in this, I was gonna say mint green, but I have another one that's lighter than that. So these 2, and the beaks are not Posh, I think it's Baby Bear, and this one was the leftover from the fox. I didn't make it to the end before the battery ran out, but anyway, that's what's left over from the fox. I think I used it all. If not, I have like a little ball left for scraps, but just so you can see the size difference. Parfait Chunky and the demi pearl. So quite distinct. And this one has the beak basics chenille. So not bad. So that is what I have finished, which is a ton of them, because now I have to tag and pack them. I need to do that because my pile is getting out of control, and I don't want to wait till the night before, the week of the craft fair. But the only other amigurumi whip I have going right now is Amigurumi Today. It's from Amigurumi Today. I don't know if you guys, there is amigurumi.com, there's Amigurumi Today, and then there's another Amigurumi something website. I'm not sure if Amigurumi is Amigurumi Now, one of them puts out the books of amigurumis. But anyway, Amigurumi Today has paid patterns, but they also have free patterns that it's just on the website. You can't like cut and paste off that, but you can always buy the PDF if you want to. But they have a few patterns that I made. I think in the last couple of videos I made a couple of items from there. The bears, or the bear, something. But anyway, this is going to be another bear with a with overalls, and I'm using blanket, and I think this is the baby sand colorway, and this is one of the, I think one of the dots clearance yarn that I bought last year. So I'm just trying to use that up, and I started this at night, and I didn't think I'd get this far, and I didn't have my eyes with me when I was making it, so it was time to put in the eyes, so I had to stop. So it's just the decreased rounds and put in the eyes, and then I have to make the muzzle and ears and finish the part of the overall. So hopefully I'll get that done today or tomorrow, but between end of day today and tomorrow, I want to tag everything, put it in inventory, and put it away so I can have space to add more. Anyway, that is where I am. Hopefully I'll get one of those videos. Hopefully by now, by the time you see this, you will have seen the first of the videos. That's my goal. That's my goal, not gold. That's my goal to do. But I want to make one more of these horses and one from the pattern that I bought. I want to make another cow of some sort, maybe the same one, because I actually like that pattern. I may make a couple more of these in brighter, lighter spring colors, but who knows. And at least one more fox. Oh, and this, I want to make another one of these, but we'll see. Ambitious. On that note, I will talk to you guys later. Oh, I had my tea, I rewarmed it, and it's somewhere over there. But tea OGs, thanks for sticking in there. I know I am not very consistent, and there's no plans for me to be as consistent as I once was, not in the near future. Life is lifing, as always. So, you guys take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.